Get ready for this one, boys and girls. It's going to be a barn burner. Yeah, I'm a little bit angry, as if I haven't been angry every single video for the last 6 years on this channel. And clearly, it's going to show that the gaming industry has no idea whatever the they're even doing. Hell, PlayStation doesn't have a clue what they're actually doing. And honestly, I'm gonna be upfront about this. I am sick and tired of talking about how PlayStation continually is trying to screw over every customer, every person, and every user every single day, apparently, if it's not trying to screw over developers by using AI to close a loophole on slop games on their entire platform, even though over the past weekend, everybody's been calling their AAA quality tentpole title game actual slop across the board, which really is kind of funny watching developers get angry. People are upset about everything happening with this company, but hey, we'll talk about that later. But also the fact that right now we are living in probably one of the worst crises in the tech space literally ever since the beginning of this entire hobby and the beginning of this infrastructure. We're looking and witnessing as GPU prices are crossing into the $800 territory in this space. RAM kits alone are costing much more than my mortgage, like 2x my mortgage when you think about it, when you try to buy RAM for just a PC. And every other major company is also passing on tariff costs onto you as a customer. Then when they sue the government, they get that tariff money back. And do they give it to you? No, they keep it for themselves. And they hoard all that revenue, they hoard all that wealth, and put you over a barrel every time. And personally, I'm tired. I'm like at my wit's end with this, where every day I can't even do like a good piece of news video. No, instead, I gotta talk about how PlayStation has no clue what they're gonna be doing with the PlayStation 6. As if we have to talk about the PS6 right now. Brother, you guys are literally batting 1,000 in the worst PR scheme of all time. It's gotten to the point right now where I truly think that all the execs at Sony look at you as an old white man as Meg Thee Stallion walks by on a hot summer day and you just fold like a book. Honestly, I would immediately fold if Meg Thee Stallion walked by me on a hot summer day. But still, you might as well just call me Billy Gunn from D-Generation X. If you know, you know. But it's honestly insane how this company treats its actual customers, treats its users, destroys developers, ruins ecosystems, and then expects you to go around and still give them more money every single time. Hell, even right now, like I said before, the cost of RAM is at an exponential high, more than anything we've ever seen. Check this out. With Tom's Hardware posting, memory prices climbed 500% in 12 months, up 10 times the lowest ever tracked prices. 128 gigabytes of DDR5 now costs $3,399. We're talking about 128 gigs of DDR5. $3,400 for that? No, I don't think so, Tim. And the fact that these companies are walking around and providing an entire monopoly or oligopoly in this space and causing every other company to go ahead and have long-term agreements to increase those prices and make everybody else pay higher is going to be the actual death knell of the tech industry and anything to do with gaming right now. And the crazier part is developers, publishers, and companies like PlayStation don't even understand what is happening. Or you know what? They do understand, and they just don't give a damn. And I think that's exactly what's in fact going on. We're still dealing right now with Unreal Engine 5 unoptimized slop, even on consoles. And hell, on PCs, it's in fact even worse to get traversal stutters, or the game not even functioning correctly, or Unreal Engine 5 not being able to be used and forcing ray tracing into basically everything. So developers are doing less, game companies are charging you more, and the games that you're getting don't even work half the time. So hell, what are we doing right now? And when you remove the actual physical media from the customer, you think they're going to be happy about that too? It's almost like it's the straw that broke the camel's back. But the problem is things are getting worse. We talked about this in yesterday's video. PlayStation is now going to be using AI in some really strange capacity to try and find actual people who are scamming others online in their networks. The problem is AI is going to bring false positives. And the issue isn't just there. It's also with developers on top of that. Trust me, it's gonna get worse. Because according to Push Square, Sony's purge on PS5 shovelware may now have hit a legit indie dev. With the article saying, Sony has been riding the PS Store shovelware, erasing entire publisher catalogs from its virtual plaza. While I think this news has been broadly well received, I've always cautioned that legit devs may one day get caught in the crossfire. And it looks like that happened to a Ukrainian dev outfit, Turnox, who's been told its upcoming text-based adventure, Stonks 9800 Stock Market Simulator, can't release on PS5. The game is available in early access on Steam already, has attracted overwhelmingly positive reviews since debuting in 2023, and that's based on over 1,000 ratings as well. With the Turnox Games tweet posting, Stonks 9800 will not be coming to PS5. Sony at PlayStation unilaterally terminated my PlayStation developer and publisher agreement without giving me any reason. My existing games are scheduled to be removed from the PlayStation Store after August 23rd. Yup, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. You know it, you love it. PlayStation literally ruining their entire ecosystem because they want to rely and use everything with AI to monitor, maintain, manipulate, and use you as an actual guinea pig. If it's not monitoring what you say in your group chats with AI or the messages you send either to an AI or from an AI, now it's AI deciding whether or not they're going to go ahead and allow your video game on that platform. And you can simply say, Alex, I didn't want a text-based adventure. Why would I want that on my PS5? I want to play PlayStation greatness. Well, the only greatness you're getting is 1 to 2 tentpole titles a year, and those tentpole titles really aren't lighting everybody up or getting them excited now, are they? In fact, it's gotten so bad that even developers of Insomniac are now saying, you guys, it's all about hate for clicks, about Wolverine. No, it's about the fact that this company is screwing over customers every single time, and you guys took 5 years and $300 million to produce the same shit you made the last 5 years ago. If you're gonna ask for $70 and no disc, well, I expect something a little bit better than what you gave me 5 years ago. But the issue is more about this. It's about control. PlayStation wants to make sure they can abuse their customers, use variable rate pricing, adjust the actual markets, and manipulate you in any way possible to either go ahead and spend more money on their platform or be hooked into their storefront altogether. Not even realizing that all they actually have to do for people to get on their good graces is provide a proper refund policy, give better ways of removing DRM from their games, and even more so, providing different kinds of games on their storefront for other people to in fact buy on their storefront and even play as well. Using this kind of system, removing actual developers, and going around and relying even more heavily on AI itself really doesn't bode well for anyone. And there's a reason why I believe Sony is relying on AI. They've been doing it and making patents for it for quite some time. They made a patent to make the game play for you if you get stuck. They made a patent, like we talked about before, to go ahead and have people get caught using an AI chatbot. And I'm guaranteeing you they're also using an AI to scrub actual games on their platform to determine whether or not those games should be on their storefront in the first place to maximize sales. And I don't think Turnox's game was removed because it was slop. I think it was removed because people aren't going to buy it on their PS5 Pro or even their PlayStation 5. I think Sony is trying to cater and really coalesce into what they feel is going to maximize the amount of money on every single sale and every actual return, more so than providing you, the customer, a better reason overall to be in that ecosystem or even buy a game there, restricting the kind of games being sold and having some sort of a genre-defining magnifique state of what PlayStation in fact should be. Almost like they're taking a tube and huffing their own farts after having Mexican night on every single Monday in La Taqueria. The refried beans are the best, apparently. And even though this story seems to be disconnected from what's been going on, honestly, it is. Trust me, we're going to connect those pieces together in just a moment. We're going to see everything put together, and we're going to see why PlayStation is literally right now in the worst possible space of anything in the gaming industry, still pushing along for the PlayStation 6, but they have no clue what they're going to do with it, or what it's in fact going to do for you. Because according to Charlie Intel posting, Sony CEO says the company has not decided on a launch date for the PlayStation 6 yet, via the Wall Street Journal. You know what's crazy? You know what's funny? I really believe that PlayStation is holding off on their strategy and on their price of what the PS6 is going to do until Xbox opens their mouth first. I swear to God. That's what I think they're going to be doing. They're going to try and make the same play that they did back in the PS4 generation for the PlayStation 6 generation. Because right now, honey, they've got a big storm coming. And things are getting really wild for them every single time. The constant community notes, the actual replies, the drop in console sales, everything kind of like collapsing all around them, and even their tentpole title game getting flambéed all over the internet. But it turns out there's even more to this about what's been going on, and even more about what's going to be happening with those specific long-term agreements, and even the price of RAM, and also their insane use of AI. See? We're going to tie it all together, folks. Trust me. According to the article by WCCF Tech posting, although the next generation of consoles is right around the corner, the high prices of components and thus gaming hardware mean anticipation for the PlayStation 6 and Xbox Project Helix is at an all-time low. At this point, it's not even certain if the new consoles will indeed launch by the end of 2027, as Sony CEO Hiroki Totoki made some interesting and somewhat foreboding statements, not only about the PlayStation 6, but also about how the company's business has to change in these trying times to survive. In a fresh interview with the Wall Street Journal, Totoki-san did not speak at length about the PlayStation 6, only mentioning that the system's launch date and thus price have yet to be determined. This shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone following rumors, as we reported that a decision on the matter will likely only be taken early next year, right before production begins. What makes the Sony CEO statement about the PlayStation 6 still not having a release date set interesting are the few others regarding the company's entire business, with Totoki saying, quote, "Traditional businesses are important. I have a great respect for these businesses, but at the same time, we need to change," Totoki-san said about the company's shift from a hardware and electronics business to an entertainment business. Oh, brother, it is over. That PS6 is not going to do what you think it's going to do. And PlayStation is not going to sit there and cater to you as a customer, even as hardcore as you want to be, anymore, basically, ever again. You are not enough money for these companies, and they're realizing it right now. What they're trying to do instead is monopolize every single IP and every single facet of what they have to try and go through and make you spend more money in their own ecosystem, and preferably with their own games and their own IPs. We want the big dollars. We want the whales. We want the Fortnite bucks. We want the kiddos buying the Wolverine as much as possible. $70, $80, all digital, no disc, no printing, no setting anything up, and $900 PlayStation 5 Pros. This isn't the behavior of a company that's successful, mind you. In my opinion, this is the behavior of a company that's trying to figure out where it's going to fit in the new modern age when everything is more expensive than ever before. Unlike Xbox or even Microsoft that has roots in PC gaming, they have roots in streaming their games. They have the ability to go through and say, hey, here's our service model that we have the ability to do so. So if the hardware costs too much money, here's your streaming version as well. And to make matters even crazier, let's put ads in there too. That way it'll spice things up where we can make even more money off people that can't afford the service in the first place. Cataloging and collecting as much revenue from every type of aspect and every type of customer they probably can. Everything from the massive whale all the way down to the tiny minnow. And that's what PlayStation is in fact trying to do, but in the opposite direction. They're trying to push into other aspects of entertainment more so than just gaming, and they feel they can do it with that kind of IP. Think about it. Why does every PlayStation game feel like a movie? With the article continuing by saying, for this reason, the Japanese company is focused on turning its gaming IPs into movies and TV shows. The flywheel we have to make, according to Totoki-san. The Sony CEO also added that the company is looking for ways to integrate gaming and anime, genres that have a natural affinity. This shift, according to Totoki-san, is of central importance. A CEO's most important task is simply making sure the business survives. Considering that importance, we need to take some action. Otherwise, we cannot survive in this landscape. He's telling you everything right now up front to your face. They're going to try and monetize you even harder across the board. And here's the real scary part. The PlayStation 6, even if they delay that system, even if they push it back 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or even 4, it doesn't matter what the delay is going to be. These companies are stuck with these long-term agreements from companies like Micron, SK Hynix, and Samsung for that RAM. And even with AMD for those long-term agreements and specific amount of consoles being sold to manufacture those APUs for the next-gen system. And that's where things are going to get even more crazy. Because also according to WCCF Tech, entry-level GPUs were gamers' last hope, but PC Partner warns of severe shortages in the second half of 2026. As per PC Partner Group, the company behind Zotac in O3D and Monly, the entry-level GPU segment is expected to face even more severe shortages. The company says this could happen very soon, with average selling prices expecting to rise significantly in the second half of 2026. We are already in the second half of the year, and if the forecast proves accurate, even the affordable GPU segment could be in serious trouble. Remember when Totoki said his entire plan right now is to survive? Baby, that's the survival. We're looking at every single company dealing with shortages in the actual entry-level space of GPUs. And think about that. Consoles are supposed to be affordable, able to go in and be loss leaders for many people. You go in, you buy a cheaper box, you can then pay for online, which I don't know why you would, but still, hey, why not? And then you buy the games itself. And normally you would make your money back on the actual losses on the console from the actual software and services. The problem is now, they're not doing that. They are giving you the actual price of the system at cost, or even try to make a profit from those systems as well, and then still turning around and charging you more money than ever before, increasing the price of PSN and PS Plus, and forcing you into an all-digital ecosystem while they take everything away from you and charge you more money across the board for every single aspect because of it. The next PlayStation console, whatever they want to call it, probably a PS6 or whatever, is going to be a bit more expensive, if you ask me, than the actual PS5 Pro right now at $900. I could easily see that next-gen system being that $899 price point, or even above it into the $1,000 territory as well. And when you stop and think about it and you say, okay, if we're going to charge $1,000 for a system because we're forced to do it because of the long-term agreements by RAM, the shortages by the GPUs and entry-level spaces, and everybody being because of what's been going on with AI that Sony is also relying heavily on for not only moderation, but also their entire store. You see how it all kicks in together now? Man, is it funny to watch. Now you can clearly see the entire Ouroboros, or the snake eating its own tail, in this entire fucking industry. Rather than not relying on AI, rather than adding to the problem, they're exacerbating it and then placing the blame onto you because you didn't buy enough systems. So they're making other bets. Do we release the PS6 at $1,000 and then turn around and try to make our money back through every other piece of entertainment? And that seems to be Totoki's plan. He's going to monetize, he's going to rip off, and he's going to screw over every single customer in every aspect. And I'll be honest with you on this as well. What is the PS6 going to bring to this space that you don't already get right now? But when this company is going to go around and start charging you $1,000, this console better bring all the bells and whistles. But unfortunately, it won't. It'll be restricted by those long-term agreements. It'll be restricted by the actual shortages in the tech space. It'll be restricted by the use of AI in data centers, even though they're doing the exact same thing right now to use that AI to save money and save time. But then they got to pay for it in the long run when they try to manufacture the next-gen console. But what I think is going to happen is that you're going to see a massive sticker shock for next generation, not only because of the fact that these companies are stuck with these contractual deals, and we saw those deals happen and break down when Valve tried to bring out the Steam machine, and those companies said, either you make the deal with us now and you buy the RAM, or never call us back again. And this is to Valve of all people, not even to other companies as well. Hell, even Apple is having a hard time trying to source RAM from these companies. And if Apple's having a hard time, you can bet your sweet bippy PlayStation and Sony are having just as a hard time too. So unless that PlayStation 6 gives you actual native 4K gameplay at 120 FPS, literally on your screen without using an upscaler or PSSR, what's going to be the point of spending $1,000 on that plastic box when for $1,500 you can get it on a PC, actually own your digital content, and then at the same time still play the majority of PlayStation games, even though there's only going to be like, what, 4 missing after this? And to be honest, from what we've seen online, people really aren't excited about the new Wolverine either. So that's going to be fun to watch. So as I said before, get ready, because next generation and next year is going to be a wild roller coaster ride, and it's going to be difficult to see who's going to come out ahead when we're going to be watching and witnessing as these next generation consoles have such a high price across the board that many people will stop and say, what's even the point? And we're going to watch console sales fall off a cliff. We're going to watch these companies try to over-monetize those users. And we're going to sit here and witness as every single game is still being held back by the previous generation because everything became too unaffordable. Thanks, AI. You did a good one. Not really. No, it was actually very bad. Go away. Thanks. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comments section down below. Do you think PlayStation has some idea about the next generation of systems? Do you think that Xbox might even come back and do something else? Maybe even try something new, or hopefully maybe even take a loss on their actual console sales? Or do you think PlayStation would even try to do the one thing to get themselves back into good graces and actually lower the price of next generation systems? I want to hear what you got to say. And speaking about what you got to say, here's the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With Unicorn 2XL Gaming Hobbies 107 saying 1984 has become a blueprint, not a cautionary tale. Unicorn, you're absolutely right. And we're watching as these companies are using AI to save money, yet at the same time that AI is scanning, reviewing, monitoring, listening, and doing everything it can to collect as much data on you, but also making everything far more expensive for you and that company as well. Again, PlayStation and these companies have no idea what the they're doing. And it's honestly hilarious to actually watch. But as always, if you guys want to see more of this kind of content though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and live streams, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during those live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. Look, if you don't want to spend the buck, don't even sweat it. Just come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. It's a hell of a live show. Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel. Do you want even more of me though? Check out Oh No It's Alex Gaming. Link to that channel is in the description down below. New videos go up every single Monday. And in fact, yesterday we talked about the Wolverine backlash happening online. Trust me, you want to go back and watch that video. And to make things even better for you as well and give you even more content, I live stream on that channel daily. Right now we're playing Mortal Shell 2. I start around 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m. every single weekday. Come on down to the live streams every day and hang out as I get you through your workday. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!